Hello, this is Kelly. Here's my Sunday drop. This is the second series teaching. It's a continuation from the Navigating Through the Maze of Misinformation. So if you haven't listened to the first one, go out to my YouTube channel and listen to that one. I think this one today will really help you to get clarity on what we call echo chambers and groupthinks.
In today's digital landscape, echo chambers have become increasingly powerful forces that shape our worldview, often without our conscious awareness. These closed systems of information, where beliefs are amplified and reinforced through repetition inside a closed group, pose significant dangers to both individual intellectual growth and societal discourse. What are echo chambers and groupthink? An echo chamber is an environment where a person only encounters information, opinions, and beliefs that align with their own, while opposing views are underrepresented or excluded entirely. In echo chambers, existing beliefs are constantly reinforced and amplified through repetition inside a closed system. This can occur in social media algorithms that show content similar to what you've engaged with before, news sources that cater to specific political leanings, or social groups that share similar worldviews. The term echo chamber refers to how ideas bounce back at the person in a way that strengthens their existing beliefs rather than challenging them. Groupthink. Groupthink is a psychological phenomenon that occurs when a group of people prioritizes consensus and harmony over critical evaluation of alternative viewpoints. In groupthink situations, the desire for group cohesion overrides realistic appraisal of alternative courses of action. Members avoid raising controversial issues or alternative solutions to avoid being seen as disloyal or disruptive. This often leads to constant confusion, chaos, and conflict, as well as the following. However, this list is not all-inclusive. Illusions of invulnerability and moral superiority. Irrationalization of warnings that might challenge the group's assumptions, leaving one who may have a different perspective completely frustrated and mentally exhausted. Pressure on dissenters to conform by using intimidation or coercive isolation to get them to bend to your will. It's self-censorship of ideas that deviate from the apparent group consensus. Shared illusions of unanimity. Both echo chambers and groupthink severely limit critical thinking and lead to poor decision-making by removing the diversity of thought necessary for thorough analysis and innovation. The dangers of echo chamber alignment. When we exclusively consume information that confirms our existing beliefs, we sacrifice our capacity for critical and deductive thinking. This intellectual isolation leads to a narrowing of perspective that can manifest in several harmful ways. The brain's natural tendency to seek confirmation bias goes unchallenged, making us increasingly resistant to opposing viewpoints. Over time, this resistance calcifies into an inability to process contradictory information, regardless of its validity. Echo chambers foster black and white thinking, where complex issues are reduced to simplistic binary positions. This eliminates the nuance necessary for understanding multifaceted problems facing our society. Perhaps most concerning, prolonged immersion in echo chambers can atrophy our critical thinking muscles. When never forced to defend our positions against serious opposition, we lose the ability to construct logical arguments or recognize logical fallacies. Recognizing you're in an echo chamber. Here are 3 key indicators that you may be trapped in an echo chamber. 1. Emotional discomfort with disagreement. If you experience disproportionate anxiety, anger, or discomfort when encountering opposing viewpoints, you may have been conditioned by an echo chamber. Healthy discourse shouldn't trigger fight-or-flight responses. 2. Demonization of outsiders. Echo chambers often characterize those with different perspectives as not just wrong, but morally inferior or malicious. If you notice yourself viewing ideological opponents as inherently evil rather than simply mistaken, this suggests echo chamber influence. 3. Information sourcing patterns. Examine where you get information. If your news sources, social media feeds, and personal conversations all reflect the same ideological position, you're likely in an echo chamber, regardless of which side of the political spectrum you inhabit. Breaking free from echo chamber addiction. Here are strategies to escape the gravitational pull of echo chambers. 1. Deliberate exposure to opposing viewpoints. Seek out intelligent, good-faith arguments from the other side. This doesn't mean engaging with extreme or hateful content, but rather finding reasonable voices that challenge your assumptions. 2. Start by identifying respected thinkers who hold different views and approach their work with genuine curiosity. 3. Practice steel manning. Instead of looking for flaws in opposing arguments, straw manning, challenge yourself to strengthen them, steel manning. Before criticizing a position, ask yourself, what's the strongest possible version of this argument? This exercise builds intellectual empathy and highlights blind spots in your own thinking. 4. Diversify your information ecosystem. Intentionally restructure your information environment. Follow people with diverse viewpoints on social media, subscribe to publications across the political spectrum, and engage in conversations with people whose life experiences differ from yours. The role of cancel culture. Cancel culture reinforces echo chambers by establishing severe social consequences for deviating from group consensus. This creates powerful incentives against expressing nuanced or heterodox opinions, even privately. The threat of ostracism or public shame serves as a boundary enforcement mechanism that keeps group members ideologically aligned. This dynamic creates a self-perpetuating cycle. As fear of cancellation grows, fewer dissenting voices speak up, making the echo chamber appear more unanimous than it actually is. This perceived unanimity further discourages dissent, creating an illusion of consensus that may not accurately reflect the true diversity of thought within the group. Breaking free from echo chambers requires courage to risk social disapproval. However, the reward is intellectual liberation and a more accurate understanding of our complex world, outcomes that far outweigh the temporary discomfort of challenging our own beliefs and standing apart from the crowd. Conclusion. Breaking free from echo chambers is both a personal journey and a civic responsibility. While the comfort of like-minded communities can be seductive, true intellectual growth requires exposure to diverse perspectives and the willingness to have our beliefs challenged. By recognizing the signs of echo chamber influence in our lives, deliberately seeking out opposing viewpoints, practicing intellectual empathy, and diversifying our information sources, we can reclaim our capacity for independent thought. The path toward intellectual independence isn't always comfortable. It requires confronting our biases and sometimes standing apart from social groups that demand conformity. However, the alternative, remaining trapped in echo chambers, diminishes our ability to understand complex realities and contribute meaningfully to societal discourse. In an increasingly polarized world, developing the courage to think critically and engage with diverse perspectives isn't just beneficial for personal growth, it's essential for the health of our democratic society. By making these conscious efforts, we can break the cycle of groupthink and foster a culture that values honest inquiry over ideological conformity.
I hope this was an informative message for you. So please feel free to share with your friends and family. And if you like these empowerment expressions, go to my YouTube channel at Wisdom Ways Speak and like, comment, and subscribe. Okay, until next time, God bless.